Welcome to Bridging the Gap, the show where we dive into intergenerational conversations about careers, courage, and creating your own future. I'm your host, Sheila. Today, we will look at what does it really take to walk away from a high-growth career, consulting career at that, in London, and bet on an undefined dream in music, no less. In today's episode, I'm speaking with Aniket Rajgarhia, a Bombay-born engineer turned music tech consultant. From playing in teenage bands and solving fintech challenges for clients at Accenture, to shaping how artists get paid in India. His story is one of belief, bandwidth, and bold reinvention. We talk about building a life beyond safe choices, rethinking financial independence, and why managing royalties might just be more complex than managing code. Welcome, Aniket. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thanks, Sheila. Thanks for having me.
So, Aniket,
Yeah.
you grew up in Worli. You went to my ex-school,
Yes.
Bombay Scottish.
Yeah.
Right? They say that you should study well, get a good job, get married, have kids at the right time. So it's almost like a path is set. There is that image that they have
Yeah.
that this could be the linear path to success. Was that ever told to you, or was it understood implicitly?
It was told.
It was told. Okay, okay.
It was told, but not enforced. So my dad always had this thing that they say you should do engineering and then your MBA abroad. You do your engineering in India, you go abroad, you do your MBA, and then you'll be set for life. Who is they? I don't know who this they is. But I think the kind of time that I grew up also, maybe like at 12, 13, started accessing the internet, started developing your own interests. That's when I got into like downloading music that I actually liked and started to develop my own musical tastes and styles. Of course, our friends come from different backgrounds in school. So everyone has different kind of family influences. Then we talk about that. Some person wants to go and, actually do an MBA because that is their kind of path that they've seen. Some people come from family businesses, some people come from professional backgrounds. So I think it was just like a amalgamation of everything we saw, experienced, felt, and then kind of took one step at a time.
So when your family would say things like you have to do this and you
Yeah.
have to do that, what would go through your mind? What would you feel? Would you just listen from one ear out the other?
No, I would usually follow it.
Oh.
Like what my family said.
Wow.
But if it made sense to me. Like I think there was always that acceptance of questioning from parts of the family, not necessarily from, not like you can do whatever you want whenever you want. But so dad had this view that, this is the way things should be. And it was coming from a
Place of good intention.
place of good intention, but also from a risk averse standpoint.
And we're
right?
going to talk about that
Yes.
as well. Yes.
So it comes from like, okay, this is what you should do. This is the blueprint of generic success in life.
To hedge your bets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you do engineering, then you do an MBA, then you go into finance or business in some way. And then you'll be fine. But obviously that does not take into account everything that life has to bring with it, right? Mom, of course, being a housewife, she was more like, what does my beta want? What will make him happy? And luckily, again, coming back to the friends that I've had, I think the influences have been so good that I could pick and choose what I want from different things that I see people doing, whether my age, above me in school, even below me in school. The kind of opportunities we had at school was also a lot. So not only just academics, getting into sports, dramatics, debates, all of those things were really encouraged. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we did all of those things, sometimes individually, sometimes as a group of friends. But I think it was just the freedom to try a bunch of things and then choose what I think is best. Not without resistance.
Oh, not without
Not
resistance.
without
Okay.
resistance.
In contrast, I was very rebellious.
Right.
So whatever was told to me, I would want to do exactly the opposite.
Right.
And to the extent that all the choices I made was contrarian to what my mother wanted.
Was that conscious or just internal nature?
You mean, was it like out of rebellion?
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it was ever out of rebellion, though it was viewed as rebelliousness.
Uh-huh.
I think it was because I was very clear what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Very, very clear. And even as a 10-year-old, it was startlingly clear in my mind what I wanted my life to be. But imagine so many years ago, a girl turning around and saying, I won't do this, I won't do that, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
And I remember I started earning much earlier because I didn't want to be told that we are giving you money.
Sure.
So it was a crazy situation.
Yeah. Do you feel that the influence of the parents having these viewpoints is changed now in the age of social media, where I might still get those signals, but from the internet saying that you should follow your passion, whereas parent is saying that, you should do what's right. Or I should have a house by this age because, people my age are uploading videos of their houses. Um, do you think that that has changed over time?
I think the conflict has definitely become a lot more. Because on social media, you will see somebody who's chucked up a job and is just traveling.
Yeah.
And there's your mother or father saying, Beta, don't give up this job. This is a really great job.
Yeah.
So I think those things, I think the stress on you or the contradictions that are pulling you guys apart in your generation is definitely a lot more than what was in mine. The worst that happened in my life was that I was compared with my good cousins.
Okay.
That see, these are such good cousins,
Right.
and you should
Right,
be like
right,
them.
right.
But you guys have it so tough because there's a part of you that wants to follow your heart, and there's another part where there's these social pressures. So I think it's got heightened, the pressure, but I don't think parents' expectations may have gone lesser.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
makes
I don't
sense.
think parents, because after all, it comes from a place of good intention. It doesn't come from a place that I want to mess up my son or daughter's life.
Yeah.
But we don't want you to make the same mistakes that we did. I can really understand what my mother went through.
Sure.
Saying, oh my God, what are you doing? You're getting married to a Punjabi.
Yeah.
You're a good South Indian girl. Why would you want to do that? So all those concerns, I think parents come from a good place.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that they're trying to be wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read somewhere or I heard somewhere that the parent's job is to tell you to make the safe choice, and then it's your job to not
Not
listen.
make the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
That's really well said. And that's what I think is interesting because they're always there as your safety net, which allows you to take those leaps of faith that you otherwise may not have done.
Yeah.
You finished school. Obviously, school played a very large part in your life. And then you decided to do what your father told you to do, which is do engineering.
Yeah.
And when we spoke, you said you went to an engineering college in India. Tell me what was that like, and what made you decide that you needed to go overseas to do your engineering?
I've always wanted to go. I think even in school, maybe 8th, 9th, 10th standard, that was my intention, that I
Okay.
wanted to go abroad. And at the time, I wanted to do a major in something scientific with a minor in music. That was my,
Oh, so you were always that much into music?
yeah, always,
Okay.
always. Probably from the ages of 14, 15, that's when we started playing together in a band in school. We used to play like at the end of dramatics competitions, or actually between the two plays, it was called the filler. That's when we would come and play a couple of songs, and we played even after school and stuff. So around that time, I wanted to go abroad, ended up doing 1 year of an IB school in Bombay. And that time, and I guess still, IB school is a track to, end up in a
Absolutely.
foreign
Yeah.
college. Because of the system and the kind of the track that you're on. At the end of the 11th standard, dad was adamant that I do the CET exam and do my engineering in India and then go for my postgraduate elsewhere. So I was pulled out of the 11th standard at the end of the 11th standard, and 12th I did in a college in Bombay, Jai Hind. Did the CET exam, got a score, got a place in an engineering college in Bombay. Started doing electrical engineering there. That period of time is also when kind of music kept me afloat, because through all of this we were playing music with our friends and listening to a lot of music and stuff. So I would say this was a very like tumultuous time because there was a lot of pulling out, but all of it was against my will. Right? This was not something that I wanted for myself. This is something that I agreed to do. So there was an internal kind of
You mean going
disturbance.
to college in India?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just not doing the path that I initially set out to do
Okay.
at that point of time.
Okay.
And ended up, doing all of that. And I remember in college once asking my physics teacher a question, and he's like, "Exam mein nahi aane wala hai, chhod do." So I said, I can't do, this. I wanted to do engineering. It's not like I didn't want to do engineering, but I was like, I'm not going to learn. We were sitting in the exams, computer science exams, handwriting answers. And I'm copying the answer of the code from my phone and I'm writing it on a piece of paper. There was no computer anywhere, but we were doing coding exams written on piece of papers. So I said, I can't really do this. And I didn't want to do this. So I it took a long time. I got a couple of family friends to make my dad see reason. Eventually, he agreed, and he's like, "If you don't want to do it, then don't do it," because I didn't want to waste 4 years of a engineering degree in India.
So I think what upset you was the fact that you couldn't ask the questions you wanted to ask and you were studying just to pass an exam?
In a way, I think I just didn't want to be there, and these were all signals, like validating my desire to be elsewhere. And I did have good friends still, like, through school, through college, but never felt like I was in the right place for me.
I get it.
And I never felt connected also.
I get it. I get it.
So that was a point where I said, I have to go. One sem into engineering college, which means that I was applying, going through the whole, for an application process. By that time, it was too late to apply to the States. I would have had to take 2 gap years instead of 1.
Okay.
Similar to colleges outside London in the UK. So I ended up applying to universities outside of London in the UK
Okay.
for engineering.
Okay.
Ended up at Bristol, which was the best thing that could have happened to me. It's an amazing city. Again, most of my closest friends from that phase of my life are
From the
from uni.
university.
So things kind of happen the way they're meant to. I believe that very much.
And I think you also mentioned to me that Bristol was the city of a lot of underground music.
It is. It is the home of underground music in the UK.
And did you get to experience a lot of it?
Yeah. I mean, later, maybe towards my 3rd and 4th year instead of 1st and 2nd. But I mean, it was amazing. Just going to different clubs and different bars and listening to different genres of music. Also going in and out of London at the time, so visiting those kind of venues.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredible.
And then you got a job.
And then I got a job. And then I got a job at Accenture post uni. Even during uni, I was trying different things. This actually, you might like this. So I was in the middle of maybe 1st and 2nd year. I did an internship at an NBFC in Bombay.
Okay.
And I was working with the CFO doing like a little bit of financial analysis and this and that. Between 2nd and 3rd year, I said that I want to do an internship at an automotive company.
Oh, okay.
And that time dad was like, what the hell are you doing? You have no idea what you want. You're doing one thing and then you're doing the next. And this. It's like, these are internships. Like, I'm supposed to.
You're supposed to explore.
Right.
Yeah.
He was not able to understand that at that time. Like, why don't you know what you want already? How am I supposed to know what I want? So that was a little bit of a point where I said that, look, this is what I want. And then dad would do whatever it needed to make that happen.
Understood.
So I remember doing an internship at an aerospace company in Bangalore, where I ended up spending more money than I earned during that internship because, dad was like, stay in a nice place.
Yeah.
Close to the office, get your meals sorted, and then you come back at the end of your 6 weeks. But his thing was making sure that I'm okay. And I got what I wanted. After
Fighting it out.
After fighting. And he made his point of view clear and I said, no, this is what I want. He's like, okay, we'll make it.
And then you decided to join Accenture?
Accenture, yeah.
Why?
It was a general track. Like you go into consulting and it's kind of exposure to different businesses. That's what you write in your application, right? I can get exposed to many ideas in business. You have no idea what you want to do. And that gives the most optionality, I think, to most people. I didn't want to go into investment banking. I don't know why. I don't think I wanted to. I'll tell you why. Because I know how tough IIT and JEE prep was meant to be. And everyone used to compare the two at the time. So I said, I don't want to be involved in, that kind of things. I want to do my work and I want to do other things also. I don't think investment banking at that point gives analysts chances to do things outside of being in the office.
Okay.
So it's not something that I
Okay.
wanted to get into at that time.
So, despite being good in studies, doing well in your extracurricular activities, getting into the university of your choice, there always seemed to be this, for want of a better word, kida,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Which was like, do something different,
Yeah.
get out of it.
yeah.
Now, when you were in Accenture, I'm sure you would have picked up a lot of consulting skills.
Yeah.
Right? So, was it an enjoyable time? Did you have fun while you were there?
I loved the work. I loved the people. I did not necessarily love the lifestyle and the corporate system at that point in time. Maybe I was not geared for it. Maybe I'm not necessarily geared for success in a corporate track, because you have to be a very certain kind of way to move up the corporate ladder. In my first year, I remember I was passed up for promotion, and my manager told me, it doesn't matter how good you are if no one knows what you do. So you have to communicate what you're doing. So there is also an element of showboating, right? Sometimes people talk and not do, but they end up moving forward. People management, all of those things are very important in the corporate setting. Something that I can appreciate now, probably not something that I appreciated or understood very well then. But I learned a lot. I was on the digital payments track, which means that I was working with clients that were banks. The primary projects that we worked on were payments related, either technology transformations or payment systems overhauls.
Okay.
So got experience across all of those
Across.
things. Focus on fintech, focus on emerging technologies. So got exposed to blockchain and machine learning, at least the concepts, not the deep tech element of it, in 2015, 2016. And there was always an element of loving new ideas. So that's, I think, what kind of drew me to um, going to other places.
So, loving new ideas, as in the organization love new ideas?
I love new ideas.
Oh, you love
It
new
just
ideas.
excites me. Yeah.
Okay.
So even
I get
within
it.
music now, like I like to work on the technology side, not necessarily within the traditional
Yeah,
framework.
understood.
Yeah.
Understood. While I was listening to you, I realized that when I started Chrysalis, my company 30 years ago, I started it because I couldn't deal with this political aspect of companies.
Sure.
I was doing exceedingly well,
Yeah.
but I just found it difficult to navigate through this and keep watching my back as to who's going to stab me. That's not what I was cut out for.
Yeah.
That's just not
I
what
think
I
there's a difference between being good at what you're doing and then drawing meaning from it as well. Like you can be good for a few years, but is it going to sustain you for your entire career to be on that same kind of giving up parts of yourself in order to succeed?
I think there are more nuances than that, Aniket, because it's not just about doing well and feeding your soul. Because I was doing well and it did feed my soul.
Okay.
But it's also about the life choices you want to make. How do you want to live? Do you want to live in a cutthroat environment? Do you want to be in an environment where you need to watch your back? Do you want to be in a place where perhaps the way you are may not be accepted? So there are a lot of things to it.
Yeah.
So you may be good at it, it may feed your soul, but you may still want an alternate path. So two things happened with me. One is I realized I was not very political. I'm not a very political animal. And the second thing is my son was born.
Right.
And I wanted to be a great mom, a great wife, and a great professional. So I said, you know what? I can't have my cake and eat it too, is what people said. But I said, I'm going to do just that.
Yeah.
And that's why the company was born.
Amazing. So I think just to clarify, the feeding your soul is one aspect. But what I'm talking about meaning is that sense of purpose. I think where you decide like these are the elements of my life that I'm going to
Perfect.
focus on.
Yes. Then we're on the same page. Yeah. What is important to you.
Yeah.
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 That purpose. Yeah. I get it. Very interesting. So tell me one thing, that you were working at Accenture. Obviously, you were good at it, though you were not showboating enough.
Yeah.
What made you come back? I mean, you were exactly the kind of kid my mother would have loved.
Yeah.
engineering किया है, फिर अच्छा सा नौकरी मिला है UK में. Why did you come back? Half of India is trying to go there.
Yeah.
So why did you come back? And between you and me, I'm glad you did, because I've always believed that India is where I would like to be.
Yeah.
But so why did you come back?
It happened very quickly, to be honest. It was during the year of 2017.
Okay.
I was on project in a small town called Northampton, which means that I had a lot of time to myself.
Okay.
I was between the office and the hotel that we were staying in. So that's when I got into self-learning through podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Podcasts like this, honestly.
Okay.
Just like getting exposed to new businesses or people or ideas or business models as well. And that's when I got introduced to the music business from the business side rather than I love music and I want to listen to it. What are the business models that underpin this industry? So that's when I started consuming a lot of information through various types of podcasts. And I felt like, there was a lot of intersection between what I was doing then, some of the challenges in the industry that I'd heard about, and some that I'd kind of anecdotally experienced when I was, playing in Bombay. One of them being that it's so difficult to get paid even today as an artist. If you're playing at a venue, to go and collect the check, then deposit the check, and then pay out to your bandmates, all of those were very manual processes.
Okay.
I'm still talking about like 2017, 18. And I was like, why we're using a plastic, card to tap and get into a tube, and there's real-time payments and cross-border payments. Why is payments in the music industry such a problem? So I thought, okay, now could be a good time when I want to flex a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit. And my lifestyle also in the UK at that time was very much kind of living for the weekend, which I think everyone kinds of resorts to at that age.
Yeah.
And I was looking at my managers and I thought if I get promoted maybe 4-5 years down the line, I'm going to be like that.
And that didn't really
I
work
didn't
for
really,
you.
yeah, I was like, that's not going to be much of a life for me then. So probably something needs to change. I didn't know what that was. I came back to India and I was performing.
Wait. So you came back to India, but before you came back to India, did you tell your parents you were coming back to India?
No, so I came for a holiday.
Okay.
And I was performing at this one bar in Bandra.
Okay. What was the name of your band?
I was just playing by myself.
Okay,
It was just me and a guitar that time. It was
Okay.
the first time I was playing a solo show.
Okay.
And it was Feb 2018.
Okay.
So the weather was amazing.
Okay.
So I think it was a little bit of a false positive because everything was great that week.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, maybe I could live here in India. That was enough for me to have the
Urge
the
to come
seed,
back.
the initial seed. Then I started talking to people, understanding, what the industry was like, and eventually I thought like, there's only so much research I can do from here. I have to go back. And
So why did you not think of doing this in the UK? Why did you want to come back to India to do it?
two reasons. One was, I guess, the reality of having an Indian passport.
Okay.
Which was,
Okay.
having the visa.
Okay.
I was sponsored by Accenture. It's not like I could quit my job and then just continue living in the
Okay.
UK. I would
Okay.
have to be sponsored by a company.
Okay.
But also the fact that I would be a very small fish in a very big pond in the UK. I have no music industry backing. I have no knowledge of the industry as well. Where do I even start? What do I do in the industry? What problems can I solve that are not already solved? In India, there's lots of problems to solve. In the UK, there's not so much. The UK is the second largest music market in the world. India is the 15th largest music market in the world. UK has 60 million people. We have 1.4 billion people. So there was a lot of kind of thought process that it was probably best for me to be in the Indian market rather than the UK. Even if I had a choice, which I didn't because I couldn't be sponsored by a
that's
UK
right.
company.
Funny, right? You always wanted to go there and then you come back here.
Yeah. Did
And-
not see that happen.
And were your parents happy you were coming back, or were they like, you've lost it, kid?
Second one.
I think parents are so predictable. Okay.
Yeah, they were like, we're happy you're coming, but why would you come home?
Yeah.
Why are you coming back to India? You're doing well. Literally, I quit the day after I got my promotion because I got the news of my promotion and I didn't feel anything. I thought I should feel something. And because I didn't feel anything, I thought that was a sign that this is not for me.
Do you have any regrets over quitting?
Mm, I'd have made a lot more money if I'd stayed, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets.
Okay. So sometimes I think back and I say, if I had continued in a corporate environment, I would have had a much fancier designation,
Yeah.
lesser worries about running a business. I would have been perhaps global head somewhere. Uh, Sounds a lot more happening and cool. Uh, but then I sit back and I say, would I have been able to choose people I work with? Would I have been able to choose the environment I create?
Yeah.
Not really. So I'm quite happy with the choices I've made.
Yeah. I think for me, there's also the element of I'm here for the people who need me. Like in this city, I couldn't do much from the UK. I would visit for 4 weeks a year.
So when you
every
say
6
you're
months.
here in the city for the people who need you, are you talking about your family or are you talking about the industry that you currently
I'm talking
work?
about family.
Family.
Yeah,
Okay.
family and friends.
Okay. Okay. So now what do? You've come back to India. What exactly are you doing? I know you explained it to me really beautifully, and I want you to do the same thing for our viewers and listeners.
Okay. So very kind of watered down version of what I do is manage the supply chain for the music industry.
Okay.
So
Tell us more.
what that means is I work on the business side of the music industry. There are many different aspects. You've got the recording side, which means that the music you listen to on earlier CDs and vinyls and now on Spotify and YouTube, which means someone is making a song somewhere, they're uploading it to some platform, and you're consuming that.
That's
music.
right.
That's recorded side.
That's
Live, of course, is a completely different ecosystem. You've got people performing their own songs, there are other people's songs, there's corporate shows. There's a line between art and entertainment when it comes to live music.
Okay.
That's not the part that I have experience working in. Then you have the brand side of things, which is endorsements and everything that comes with celebrity of working in the entertainment space.
Got it.
Also not a space that I work in. I've focused for my last 6 years on the recorded side of music, which means working with artists, writing and releasing songs, making sure that the right deals are in place between copyright holders. Anyone who makes music is owning the copyright of that song. So there are multiple kind of stakeholders on that side of the industry. You've got record labels, you've got the artists, you've got the platforms, you've got the government, because there's copyright law that affects how a lot of the systems work.
Okay.
Music is intellectual property.
Yes, it is. That I'm aware of.
It is governed by
IP
Copyright law.
right. IP laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the Indian music industry and the Indian entertainment industry and the legal framework is of course very different to the rest of the world, right?
Okay.
In the West, you have very specialized entertainment fields. You have lots of kinds of superstars. In India, you have Bollywood and you have cricket, right? Our collective conscious is developing, and the music industry has only started coming out of the shadow of Bollywood. Because if I ask any person off the road, आपको कौन से गाने पसंद है? They'll say मुझे शाहरुख खान के गाने पसंद है और मुझे अमिताभ के गाने पसंद है.
या इस मूवी के गाने
इस
पसंद.
मूवी के गाने.
Yeah.
That actor has nothing to do with the music.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
lip synced.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
The producer of the film, let's say a Karan Johar, has got a Pritam to say that this is a love sequence, we need a love song over here. Pritam works with a lyricist. Pritam works with a, whoever it is, like let's say Shankar Ehsaan Loy. Compose, write the lyrics, you've got Javed Akhtar, you've got Pritam in a room, you've got the people who make the music. Then they sell that soundtrack to the producer, and the producer uses the music to make sure that people come and buy tickets to the film. So you've got a very set way of marketing films, which is release music. And that's the way it's worked, for the last as many years. Now you've got independent musicians who are coming out and, looking at the rest of the world. Now you've got international companies that allow you to upload music to various streaming platforms. You've got global norms like royalty systems and payment, ways of doing business that are being adopted in India. So it's a very young industry on the independent side that is coming up. And my job is to make sure that the supply chain and the infrastructure is working well for the people that I work with.
So, from the point of somebody creating that music to somebody listening to that music
come
is
in the middle.
what you manage.
Yeah.
And you said this is in its nascent stage in India.
Yes.
Are you somebody who's willing to take risks? Because this sounds like a big risk you took on the basis of one gig that you performed
Yeah.
in February 2018, and you said you're coming down to India
Yeah.
to join an industry that perhaps you didn't really know too much about. You must be a guy who's willing to just leap without wondering where you're going to fall.
So by nature, no, I'm a risk averse person. And
Come
I-
on, Aniket.
I'll tell
That
you why.
sounds like I think, no. Because
tell you
nobody
why.
would do what you did if you were risk averse.
I am risk averse by nature. I like to think about things very, very deeply. So if I was to just pick up and move at the time, I wouldn't have done it. I had gone through an entire process of limiting any perceived downside that could have come my way,
Okay.
and only then made a decision.
So let's come back to the fact that when you decided to come back,
Yeah.
how did you break the news to your parents? Because for them, it must have been such a jump from
Yeah.
a steady job in a consulting company in the UK to coming back to India in an industry which perhaps people don't understand even now.
Yeah.
So, how did you break it to them? And obviously, it was not impulsive because you had thought about it.
Yeah.
So, then how did you make them understand that it was not impulsive?
I felt like there was an opportunity in India.
Okay.
And I felt there was a very real opportunity for me to bring together my consulting and fintech background and find a business to build in the Indian music industry.
Got it. Understood.
So I was like, I'm going to come and build a tech startup that targets the Indian music industry.
Okay.
And you have to trust me on this.
And which would act like kind of a payment gateway of sorts.
Sort of. So at the time, it was like the idea that I had in my head was a SaaS based record label. Right? There were a lot of independent labels coming up, people working with different artists. I didn't know whether there were the right tools that some of these people had to be able to build those businesses. I know now that there are very many tools like that, and those are very valuable tools that are mainly built in the West, not so many in India. And that's something that's also quite interesting, that a lot of Indian companies end up using services and products built outside to, manage their businesses within the music industry over here. So I felt there was an opportunity, and I said that, look, this is something that I'm going to do. You trust me for a bit.
Understood. Understood. So now in retrospect, you've been here 6 years doing this. In retrospect, do you think you made the right decision?
I don't think there was any other choice to make. I don't think there was a question of right and wrong decision.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
While I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of the way that I work. I generally have a plan A, then I have a plan B. Then if a plan A and B don't work, I have a C.
Yeah.
All the way to a Z.
Yes.
And then it starts with a plan AA,
Yeah.
AB.
Yeah.
So I tend to fail safe a lot.
Yes.
There are two thoughts to it. One is that you always have a backup. But the other thought is that you allow yourself backups.
Okay.
And I feel what you did when you said there was no choice but to do this.
Yeah.
You just made sure you had to make it work.
Yes. In my head, I had also said that, if this doesn't work, what's the worst that can happen? I'll move back into consulting. So that was my ultimate,
Plan B.
yeah, or AA even at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or even AA.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever regretted coming back to India, not in the role that you're in
Yeah.
or the job you're in, but have you ever felt that, I misread the kind of opportunities that exist in India?
Yes, that's for sure. I mean, misread the opportunities because I didn't know, the nuances of the industry. So very quickly after moving back, when I was having conversations with people, the feedback I got was, you need to get industry experience. Go work for a company for a few years, see how the business functions, and then you decide to do whatever you want after that.
Okay.
Which was great advice, right? And I think that everyone should understand the nuances of the business that they're trying to enter. And I got very lucky to, work with some of the best people
Okay.
Very early on, I started working with a company called Outdustry.
Yes, you did mention that.
Yeah.
I like the name.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So even
industry instead of the industry.
instead of the
Yeah.
industry. So my founder at the time, his name is Ed Pito. He is from the
He
UK.
was the guy whose podcast you listened to when you were in Bristol.
Exactly. So that was another full circle moment. So it just so happened that he was, expanding the business from China to India. He had gone on a podcast called Innovating Music. This was back in 15-16,
Okay.
where he was talking about China and the long game. And in the last minute of that podcast episode, he mentioned his interest in India. So I Googled Ed Pito India, and he had written like an article in 2017, which was covering the digital revolution, post geo, what does that mean for, the Indian industry and stuff like that. Per capita income, how are people going to spend on streaming services? So very interesting analysis of the industry. I'm like, people are thinking like this also. This is how I want to think about the industry. So I just kind of followed him anecdotally because he was based in China, had nothing to do with India. I came back to India, got a hot desk at a WeWork in BKC, and that's also a funny story. The community manager at WeWork at the time was really cute. So she said that you should come and you should work here. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come and work here. But then she also had some valid points. She's like, Spotify is in this building, Twitter's in this building, all of these people work here. You'll end up meeting a few people. So I said, sure, I'll meet them also. I'll meet you also. I'll come and work here. And ended up getting a hot desk at WeWork for a couple of months where I was developing this business idea. I'm watching Ed at a conference in Cannes covering the Indian music industry and taking notes. And I see him in the same room as me. He was getting a cup of coffee.
What?
So I went
Are
and
you
spoke
saying at the Vivo?
physically at WeWork in the
My
same
God,
room.
when things come together, they really do, don't they?
Seriously.
Okay,
You
and
can't
then-
write this stuff. Like, you cannot predict this stuff. So I went and spoke to him. I said, you're Ed Pito. I followed your work. He's like, how do you know my name? How do you know who I am? He's also a very understated person.
Okay.
Never not active on socials or anything like that. But, the fact that he was on this podcast was his way of putting his business out into the world. And we ended up having a 2.5 hour conversation. He said that we've just expanded to India this week. So that's why he was in India that week. And brought me on as a consultant to help him map out the Indian music market. Because that's something that I was doing at the time. Because of a piece of advice that my friend's father told me, like, stop trying to do so many things. First, you figure out what the industry looks like, map it out, figure out where your business will sit. Then I showed this map to Ed. He said that I'm also mapping this, industry out. Why don't you help me over there? And that was my foot in the door. From there, I went on to, managing the copyrights business for Outdustry. My role was across India and China. Got exposed to deal making, got exposed to royalties and systems and all of the infrastructure that we were talking about. But then got also exposed to marketing, where we were marketing the music releases for international artists who are growing their presence in India. So like Dua Lipa, Major Lazer, Lauv, a lot of the global pop stars, we were handling their marketing campaigns in India. Got exposed to Indian hip hop music, through my work at Outdustry, managed an Indian hip hop label, all the operations, distribution, publishing, marketing, all of that stuff. So ended up having like a holistic exposure to the music industry
Wow.
with the best people in the industry
Wow.
by working with this company.
It almost seems like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you are following him in Bristol. You come to India inspired by him. He walks into a room and you're in WeWork because of a cute girl, but he walks into the room. It's like everything just conspired to come together.
Yeah.
In this journey, you're making it sound very rosy, very pretty,
Yeah.
very easy.
Yeah.
Was it easy?
No, absolutely not. Obviously, there were challenges. I think being around good people made those challenges easier.
Okay.
As a company also. But COVID happened, in the middle. And that was challenging for any business. I'm sure for you also it must have been challenging in different ways.
Don't even talk about it. My business, I think the only reason we survived is because of my people.
Yeah.
My people took a joint call that they will all take a pay cut, but they will not want any of their team members to be sacked.
Yeah.
And that's how we came through. I mean, I have an amazing team.
That's
But
incredible.
oof, the way it knocked the wind out of our sails.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But that first year of COVID was not so bad. We managed okay. The second year, when we saw people dropping like flies,
Yeah.
that really impacted us. That
Yeah.
was like just not okay for us.
So there were parts that were, good for us also because we were a digital business. No one was listening to Bollywood music. No one was going for films. So the only thing that people were consuming was independent music. So for us, it was like, okay, this kind of opened up the playing field for us as a business. But there were challenges being a remote company. There were challenges building a company from ground up at that point in time. You can't meet people face to face. You can't build relationships face to face. There were some challenges at home with parents' health and all of that stuff. So there was difficulties for sure.
What kept you going on? You come from a privileged background. You could have just said, forget all this. I'll chill for 2 months and then I'll go back to something else. What made you just continue?
I just loved what I was doing. And the music that I was working on, the people that I was working with, I did not feel tired at the end of a 14-hour day. It was,
Oh, you did work 14 hours.
oh yeah.
So you were not in the generation which said, oh, I need my work-life balance.
Yes and no. I do believe that I need my work-life balance, but I was just drawing so much energy from what I was doing at the time that it didn't matter. There were some 14-hour days. It wasn't like a lifestyle.
Okay.
And the focus on being a holistic human was encouraged at the company. So company culture was also,
Okay.
very supportive in that sense. Yeah, I think just what we were talking about earlier, right? There was a sense of purpose. And that's what kept me going.
A lot of people in your generation and younger generations feel that passion is enough to be good at something. They say that, oh, I'm passionate about this.
Yeah.
But I think what they fail to realize is that with passion, you need to really put in work.
Yeah.
Just because you're passionate about it doesn't automatically make you great at it.
Yeah.
Is that something you subscribe to as well? That, passion is great, but hard work is needed to really make that passion convert into something bigger and stronger.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. It's irrefutable at this point.
Yeah, while it is irrefutable, I see a lot of young people grappling with it. They feel that just passion is enough to see them through.
They'll be
Disappointed.
taught, yeah.
They'll be
They'll
taught.
be taught by life. You said that you come from the hard school of knocks.
What a hard school of no. Oh my God. Everybody talks about entrepreneurship today.
Yeah.
But I became an entrepreneurship when the word was hardly being said.
Sure.
And I was completely an accidental entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It was just not as if I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It just happened. So yeah, School of Hard Knocks taught me a lot of lessons.
I think we all have to go through that in our own journey.
Yeah. So Aniket, I have a question to ask you. You left a settled job, came into India, into an industry you didn't know about. Did you ever have any self-doubts that maybe you won't make it? And maybe you're still making it. But did you ever feel like, oh my God, I don't think I'll ever make it here?
Moments of self-doubt, yes. That kind of keeps coming and going.
Oh, you're human then.
Yes. Yeah, obviously everyone then, has these moments of self-doubt. In whatever kind of way, shape or form it might come up. But there were always these external signals of being good at school or, at extracurriculars that how bad can it be? Whatever you end up doing, you'll probably be pretty decent at it. That's what I was telling myself. That, even if, for example, I left consulting and was trying something in music, there's also a helpful stat that you can tell yourself that 99% of startups end up failing, right? So you can cognitively block that out, saying that, that's just a kind of coping mechanism rather than anything else. But you say that whatever you end up doing, or at least I was telling myself that wherever I end up, I'll probably be, at least half decent at it. So there's no real downside to picking any one track.
Understood.
So just pick something that I like.
I was riddled with a lot of self-doubt in my career. And it's only as I grew older, I realized the power of believing in yourself and believing that you can do something,
Yeah.
because that power really helps you just push through all the challenges that come your way. But I learned it slowly and I learned it with a lot of difficulty.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you feel that how bad can it be? I'll pick up and I'll learn. That's
Yeah.
good for you.
I think there's also like two kind of learnings that I picked up from other places. One was from, I think, a Steve Jobs Stanford commencement speech where he said that all the rules of society are made by people. Companies are built by people. So someone has decided something should be a certain way. You can do the same thing. And you can also forge your own path that way. That's one like very practical, probably capitalist view on that. And then the other comes from a more spiritual kind of learning where spirituality and, learnings from the Gita and all have really helped me get through difficult times. But someone had told me a line, I am nothing, I can do anything. And I am nothing as in like, you are everything. You are not nothing from a demeaning point of view,
Yes,
but
yes.
like, who are you in the space of the universe?
I
And,
understand.
if you think of it like that and think of it like, I can do whatever I want, that's also quite an empowering thought.
Wow.
So it's almost like you put the ego aside when you
Wow.
say that I am nothing.
Wow.
And those two kind of combinations, apart from the fact that, you just kind of take signals from your life, I think those were helpful guiding lights.
Incredible, because my tryst with spirituality started so much later. It's really heartwarming to see young people like you really reading about the Gita or learning from scriptures, because they really act as a guiding light to your life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we start reading it when we've lived half our life or
Yeah.
maybe 3/4 of our life.
Yeah.
So it's really, really inspiring to see young people doing this. If you were to go back to London
Yeah.
and meet your 25-year-old self, what advice would you give to your 25-year-old self?
I wouldn't change any of my choices,
Okay?
but I would definitely tell him to learn finance and start learning finance because that's a hard skill that is extremely important.
Critical.
Yeah.
And I resonate with that so much. I used to be embarrassed to talk money.
Yeah.
I used to be embarrassed to ask for money.
Yeah.
And I realized that if you need to grow a business, you better know your numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the language of the world.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Today, you're an independent consultant and you work on your terms, your timelines. I think what I'm really interested in knowing is how do you manage your time, your energy? How do you manage it when you have your self-doubt or your downtime? How do you manage all that? Is there any discipline or is life completely undisciplined?
I try. I mean, time management is a big challenge for me. This is
Okay.
something that I've always, tried to be more in control of.
Okay.
I would say I'm a little bit of a productivity junkie also. I love finding tools and frameworks and, various time management, energy management techniques also. Most of my days are spent on calls. I have like an ideal structure. Currently, life is not adhering to the ideal structure.
Okay.
What gives me most balance is usually, firstly, working not at home, going
Okay.
to like a co-working
Okay.
space.
Okay.
Being away from home for a work period kind of just gives me a lot more a sense of control of my day.
Some kind of guardrails to your
Yeah, exactly. And so that's something that usually helps. Meditation really helps. Like first thing in the morning, 20 minutes. I always find that if I do make 10 to 20 minutes for meditation a day, journaling, all of these kind of introspective practices, that helps me manage my day a lot better, or at least my own state of mind during that day. That always helps. Not spending too many time. I need to have a right balance of speaking with people and connecting on ideas, and then having time for deep work and
For
and actual
execution.
execution as well.
Yeah.
If it's only one or the other, then I
It
get very
goes crazy.
frazzled. Yeah.
I have managed life as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, as a daughter. now as a mom-in-law, only on the basis of very strong time structures.
Right.
I live my life on Excel sheets.
Okay.
So I do understand when you say you're a bit of a junkie, because
Yeah.
so am I when it
Yeah.
comes to productivity and organization.
Yeah.
But for me, I think my downtime is very important, and I'm almost like a bear that needs to hibernate.
Right.
So I'll run into a cave maybe for 2 weeks. I'm not available to
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
But when I come back, I'm ready to
You're
go
on
at
it.
life
Yeah.
all over again.
Yeah.
So it's been a great conversation, and I think somewhere I have to end it. I could be talking to you
Sure.
till the cows
Same.
come home,
Same.
but I need to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
If someone is listening to us chat and wants to break away from a conventional path for a more unconventional one like you have, what is the advice you'd give them?
I would tell them to watch one video that really helped me. This is by a guy called Tim Ferriss. I consumed countless hours of his podcast as well. I've learned so much in my personal and professional life through the guests that he's had. But he had this one TED speech that he's given, which is on YouTube, and he talks about a technique called fear setting. So not goal setting, but fear setting. You define your fears, you figure out the worst case scenario, you find out remedies for those, and then you figure out the cost of inaction. If you don't act on the thing that you say you want, maybe you don't choose the unconventional path, maybe you go down the conventional path. What is the cost of that in your real life? Is that something you're willing to, accept or not? And I think that's a very helpful perspective.
I'm going to watch that video too,
Please.
because I'm sure there'll be lessons for
It
me
is,
as well.
100%.
Aniket, it's been such a pleasure speaking to you, because I actually bridged the gap with you on so many levels. And at so many levels, I had a completely different perspective. But I think I'm closer to a lot of things that you said as compared to not being closer to a lot of things that you said. So I do
We're
feel...
practically the same age, right?
Of course. Thank you so much. Can I just bottle you and take you home? Pour out a little of you every day. You charmer, you. But thank you so much for being here and
Thank
for
you so
making
much,
time.
yeah.
And I'm sure our viewers and listeners will take away a lot from what you've said.
I hope so. It's been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. From underground music in Bristol to decoding artist payments in Bombay, Aniket's story is a reminder that careers are rarely linear, and that self-belief can be the loudest, most consistent soundtrack in a world full of noise. His journey asks us to rethink what we define as stability, success, and self-worth. Maybe it's not about being fearless, but about betting on yourself, even when the odds seem unclear. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone at a career crossroad. And remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Gen Zen by Chrysalis, where we keep the conversation going. Until the next episode, stay sweet and stay Zen.